minutes, 5 minutes at best, and set the stage and then lay it out to the panel. As far as the ICT growth is concerned, we're seeing the market, of course, continue to grow in all shapes, in all directions. But if we try and put our hands on what are the key pillars on which ICT growth is being really dependent on, I've at least been able to put my hands on these four. So cloud applications, big data analytics, and that's where we really talk about what's happening in the data center. I'll come to that in a second. Scale-out applications do need scale-out networking. I think a number of panels, including earlier today, have made the point that the scale, including the previous panel, the scale needs to be at a different level when it comes to the data centers and cloud rollouts that are happening today globally. So from that standpoint, that's another driver. Mobility. At the edge, mobile continues to explode, but that is having an impact on the data center. And lastly, social business. We are living in a social world. You see what's happening. That's impacting what many of these applications, how they are behaving as well. So what's really happening in the data center? What's really behind the transformation of the data center? So if you start to look at it, I talked about big data, I talked about applications, I talked about social media, and not to harp on virtualization again, and of course mobility. But some of the pieces that really I do want to point out are really scale. And you'll see those coming on. Programmability, we see that on a fairly regular basis when I talk to cloud providers and large enterprises. The need for agility, analytics. This is sort of my list of priorities, if you will. If we are trying to address next generation data center requirements, this is what I see that we need to address. Not necessarily in this order. In fact, most of the panelists on this panel they may actually debate even the priority list that I have. I think we all will agree that we need to take care of all these. However, priorities may be different depending on what vendor you are, what architecture that you might be promoting in terms of your solution. So very quickly, a survey I wanted to share with you that we did in the summer or rather early fall last year, and we asked, given that the next generation is on cloud, is really private cloud, okay, we said, we asked IT, why are you re-architecting your network to support private cloud? And the reasons we got were very, very interesting. By far, the biggest one was security between virtual servers. The second one was increased bandwidth to support all the virtual applications. The third one was new service provisioning. Those were the top three that stood out, but I do not want to underemphasize the other ones. They also pointed out to faster provisioning and the amount of time it takes. And I'm sure you guys are ready to go on some of those market requirements. All right? Enter software-defined networking. Now, I know you've heard many different definitions of SDN. My definition, if you will, and Dan, I'm sure, please feel free to add. I know you have a definition as well. But if there's something that, as part of our discussion, I'm sure you'll want to add something to where SDN is.
I'll have a chance.
Sure. Certainly, I look at SDN as more of an architectural play and a model that really leads to network virtualization. And it's a mix of all the protocols that we've been talking about, including OpenFlow for the last couple of years, right? And certainly does include the fact that you can take the control plane out conjunction with that bandwidth increase. We need to be very careful and really architect it well so we meet the requirements of all the applications that are being built out. So we've seen Ethernet fabrics being rolled out. We've talked about overlays and virtual services being delivered now from the data centers. And the next frontier is what we're all calling software-defined networking. So with that, let me just quickly bring you some numbers in terms of what is the market forecast for SDN. IDC's forecast is at $3.7 billion by the year 2016. This is an in-use forecast. So this is not any product that is enabled with SDN or OpenFlow or other capabilities just because you built it, you ship it. That doesn't count. This is actual deployments in all shapes and flavors that would be plugged under the definition of SDN. This also includes existing network infrastructure. So certainly includes your layer 2, 3 Ethernet switches and routers that are shipping today as part of the existing markets in networking. So roughly about half of this market is existing market. The rest, if you exclude professional services, because we all need to go through this learning curve, it's about 600 million or so. So if you ask me, what's the net new market that SDN will